Hi there, and this is a very quick talk about action and string gauge as well, and setups that we use on our bass guitars. The reason I'm doing this is because I've been having a lot of trouble just trying to find a happy medium. In that I play a lot of chordal stuff where I tap and play bass lines at the same time. And, I'd been using light gauge strings and a low action um, for a long time. That was a little while back, a few years, a couple of years prior. And it took me a long time to kind of get a happy medium that I liked, where I could dig in for other styles of playing. And be able to also have enough dexterity and comfort to be able to execute tapping stuff and soloing, improvising stuff. Anyway, for example, this bass guitar has what I used to have on my old setup, which is a light gauge set of strings, and then the high C is a 0.031. Too light. When I play this now, I find that I find it difficult to play because when I play a solo, for example, the notes bend too much when I pluck the strings. The string is not giving me enough friction, gumption. I can't dig in enough. So I don't particularly like that setup anymore. I want to get some slightly heavier gauge strings for it, which is what I actually have on this one. On this one, the gauge that I'm using is basically the first four strings, E, A, D, and G, are a medium gauge, right? So the G is like a 0.045, and the E, I think, is a 0.105, or rather a 105 when we're talking about, yes. And then the A is a 0.085, I believe. The D probably a 0.065, and 45, 0.045. And then finally for the C string I chose something a little bit heavier, which is a 0.035. So it's a little bit heavier, and it enables me to dig in. So I can play intricate chordal stuff and tap and stuff like that. I can still do that, but I get a better tone. And I can play, slap, and I can get the tone that I want. So what I think I've got here is the best balance that I've ever had for being able to play all these kinds of different things. Action-wise, though, that's what I need to tell you about more importantly. I have the E string. If I look above the 12th fret here, we're about 2.5 millimeters above the 12th fret. And it gradually gets slightly lower from string to string. And finally, the C string is roughly 2 millimeters or maybe 1.8 millimeters above the fret. It's very difficult to measure, but essentially it's a sort of average sort of setup, really. There you are. I think you can see how high the E string is there. That's essentially normal. I believe that's a sort of average setup. Most people play a setup like this, right? So it gives you, for me at least, it gives me a happy medium. So maybe you find the same thing useful. So basically, in a nutshell, my advice is here. If you've been playing very, very light gauge strings, like I have on here, they're not super light, they're just lights. Like this is a 40, the G string is a 40, and the E string is 100. And the C string is 0.031, it's a 3-1. For me, it's too light. So what I did is I just tried a slightly heavier gauge, and I found it's made a world of difference, both to tone and just playability. So that's it, essentially. And I'm keeping my action at a sort of average height, around about 2 millimeters above the 12th fret. Okay, that's it.